Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the LJTV Hoopcast. And, it's still the same. We got all three of us here. Say what's up, guys.
Yes,
Yo, what's
sir,
happening,
yes, sir.
people? What's happening?
And last two episodes, we've been talking about the rookies, and we talked about the free agency, I believe. So now we're on to phase 3 of the offseason, this very condensed offseason that's going to start in December. Next season that's going to start in December. Yeah. Now we're going to be talking about the teams, and specifically the Western Conference. And then the next podcast, we'll be talking about the Eastern Conference. But today we're focusing on the Western Conference. We're just going to go ahead and predict on what the teams are going to be doing in terms of the standings, in terms of, throughout the season. And all of this we're saying is barring injury. So we don't know who's going to get injured throughout the season, obviously.
This is very true. You also got to think about there can be future trades. The Rockets, they've been in talks with a lot of trades with their two major stars. So if something like that happens, then the standings are obviously going to look a lot different. You know what I'm saying? So
Subject to change,
it's very subject to change here. But that just goes with like trades or injuries. If the teams stays the same and they just suck, then that's and I picked them to be like the second seed. They end up missing the playoffs. That's just my bad. You know what I'm saying? That just be a big
No,
miss.
that's not your fault. That's the team's fault.
Right.
You're right, but it's my fault for putting them that high.
I guess.
Yeah. All right. So who wants to start it off? If you guys with the who? Let's go.
Should we go bottom to top or
Yeah,
top to bottom?
let's go bottom to top here because I feel like that adds more suspense. I mean, you'll kind of figure it out as we go along.
Yeah, I like that.
We'll go bottom to top.
Hard one though.
So I do want to say that there is a play-in tournament. It goes up to the 10th seed. So technically,
oh wow.
So we'll do the top 8, but we'll technically if you make the play-in tournament, it'll be considered that you made the playoffs. So 9 and 10 will technically make the playoffs. But
last year was it just the 9th seed that got the play-in tournament?
Yeah, it was the 9th and the 8th seed. So this year it's the 9th, 10th seed that go into the play-in. So technically, yes, 1 through 10 for each side.
Only 9 teams that make the playoffs
for the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure about that, but
between 9 and 10.
I'm not really sure.
But
why
do they have to be in between a certain amount of games too?
I believe so. I don't know the exact details, but all I know is that they extended the playoffs to 9 and 10 because of the play-in. They're doing a play-in tournament this year too, like the bubble, which is pretty fun. We're gonna see a lot of surprises in that. I'm pretty sure, but for now we can talk about the top 8, and then if you guys want, you can come back to 9 and 10 seeds and say who's more what team is on the verge of the playoffs. So anyone want to start off with the 8th seed here?
Oh, we're not starting with the 15th seed?
No, we're not. No one cares about the bad teams. We know the bad teams. We know the bad teams, Tyler.
I feel like we should.
We should do the bottom
seed.
We should start
from the 15th seed. You think
Yes.
You think anyone's gonna care about?
Yes.
We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but yes, we need to spend some time on it.
I think we should start with 15. If we're just doing one conference.
All NBA teams matter, boy. Yo, spam that in the comments. NBA teams matter. All right, so
it's hard for me to pull my top 8 if I don't know.
I gotta start because I don't even know who's in my top 8. So I gotta get the bottom 6
out of the way first. I agree.
Bottom 7.
Okay, all right. We'll do the bottom teams since you guys care so much about the Oklahoma City Thunder being the worst team in the league. All right. So last year, for reference, I'll just give you guys the reference right here. So Golden State was the worst team in the league. They went 15 and 50. Obviously, they won't do that same because Steph Curry is back, and they got Wiseman. Minnesota was 14th with a 19-45 record. It'll be interesting to see what they do this year with the addition of D'Lo's full season, and to see if Cat is really that type of player where he can take a team to the playoffs. The Pelicans were the Pelicans,
13th seed.
the 13th seed, at 30-42. Again, very competitive in the West. That record right there, probably in
They
the
were
East.
disappointing.
That record right there, probably in the East, would get you close to the playoffs. But the East is getting more competitive too. Sacramento Kings were 9th. Spurs. I'm sorry. What the hell? Sacramento Kings were 12th.
Oh,
A 31-41 record. Another
If
disappointing
they didn't
team.
if they didn't have Luke Walton, they'd probably be close to making playoffs.
I mean, that team just took a step back. If you really want to talk about it, the San Antonio Spurs playoff streak ended. They finished 11th.
I had them making the 8th seed last year. I had high hopes.
Yeah.
But
They finished 11th. It's all good. The Phoenix Suns go 8-0 in the bubble. They were a hot team, but they also finished 10th. They were actually pretty close to that play-in tournament. They just needed the Nets to win against, or the Nets to beat the Trailblazers, but
Grizzlies and the Suns are both
what a
right
great game
there.
Herbert missed our last shot.
Trailblazers also went really hot in the bubble.
Trailblazers got hot in the bubble, and Memphis kind of was on the cusp right there.
That's when everybody thought the Trailblazers were going to beat the Lakers.
Yeah. So, who wants to start off with the worst team? Who do you think is going to be the worst team
I'll start
in the
off
Western
with
Conference?
I'll start off with the 15th seed. It's going to be the Thunder, 100%.
I think we can
It's
skip
going
that
to.
one.
Unless Shea Gilgeous-Alexander turns like some MVP guy, bro, they're going to be the worst team. I mean, I don't even know who their second best player is.
I think
Probably look the tank.
I think it's quite easy to
They're
look at the
100%.
Second
Thunder.
best
have to
player
be
is probably
taken.
Lou gets third.
They have Darius Baisley. I mean, it's a young team, but like
They got Dort.
they traded everyone away.
I think it's pretty easy to see that they're going to be pretty much the last team for a couple years.
Yeah.
I mean, they traded away anybody worth anything besides Shea. And they have just a bunch of picks. So I mean, why wouldn't you tank, get your draft stock up, and I mean, if this was 2K, they didn't have to tank. They can just trade these picks for All Stars and build a contender. But I mean, this ain't 2K, so so everyone's in agreement that the Thunder is.
But those draft picks, though, man.
Yeah.
Those draft picks.
Definitely,
Let me tell
definitely
you,
a Thunder.
a lot of draft picks.
At the bottom.
All right, so we'll do 14th here. Last year there was the Minnesota Timberwolves again. Who do you think will be the 14th 14th team here?
I think the 14th team will be the.
I think it's between the Kings and Spurs.
That's what I was thinking.
I was also thinking.
If the Kings don't get rid of Luke Walton, they're right there. And if the Spurs, I think DeMar is a free agent right now.
No, he resigned.
He resigned.
He
Okay,
picked up his option.
All right, they won't be that bad.
They have an aging lineup.
DeMar's a
though.
good player.
Well, you have to look at the
he might
Spurs.
regress.
They have some quality players, and they have Greg Popovich. So I don't think the Spurs, for me, are all the way down there. I think they're still going to be a competitive team. Will they make the playoffs? Probably not. But they have DeJounte Murray is fully back and healthy now. I think last year he missed some time with the ACL injury or something like that. I'm not really sure, but I think I definitely think they need to learn how to shoot the ball.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
the style of them just hitting it down to the post or giving it to DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan should have shooters around him at all time.
DeMar DeRozan could be a top 10 player in the 1980s. 1990s.
Just because of his play style, yeah, because he takes a lot of mid-range stuff. But there's nothing wrong with that. He could still shoot the three ball.
He's still really good though.
Just not.
He's still really good right now. He's just behind. I mean, he doesn't have that three ball in his game. So he's extremely efficient.
For me, I'm gonna have the Sacramento Kings as that spot in the 14th.
Yeah, we could go with the Kings.
Spot.
I agree.
Yeah, I think the Kings are honestly they're confused.
They're confusing. They just lost not Bogdan.
They lost
Bojan, I think.
Bogdan.
It's one of the Bogdanoviches, guys.
They had Bogdan. They didn't have Bojan. Bojan's on the Jazz.
They have no. They still have him.
They have him.
Who did they lose?
They have him right now.
They lost someone to the Hawks.
No, yeah, Bogdan's on the
No,
Hawks.
they did. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they lost one of the Bogdanoviches, okay?
Bogdan.
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 Bojan is on the Jazz.
Okay. So that's the one that the Nets drafted. So yeah, now he's on the Hawks, and that's a pretty big part of their team. He was one of those young rising stars. Was he like, John
I mean,
Morant status?
like
No,
20.
but he was a good.
No,
He was a
not at
good.
all.
He was a good like 17 point per game scorer. He comes in and he's gonna
I think
give you the
it's
work offensively.
I think it's good that they kind of let go of him though, because now Buddy Hield actually he's not confused. So maybe the Kings are less confused now because they lost one of those two guards that
Yeah.
they're fighting for the starting spot. And I would rather Buddy Hield in that spot.
But that team, I mean,
Bogdan.
you looked at what's his name, De'Aaron Fox's rookie season. You looked at De'Aaron Fox and you're like,
I
oh,
love
damn,
De'Aaron Fox.
that dude,
that
dude's
guy.
gonna be really good. And based off his rookie season, he was looking to be really good.
I mean,
and I think
he
he's still
played-
good. I think he's
he
still
played
good, but
for the Kings, though.
the
Yeah,
coach
he's
is
playing
Luke
for
Walton, so it is what it is. So I think they're gonna be the second worst team.
Slander
They
is
still have
crazy right now.
Vlade Divac as their GM.
I mean, look at what he done. When he was the Lakers coach with LeBron.
Yeah, I don't.
He
like
first of
Vlade.
all, people like Luke Walton because he coached when the Warriors went on a 26-1 winning streak. I mean, like, come on, it's the Warriors we're talking about here. We're not talking about he took the Pacers on a 26-game winning streak. He took the Warriors. They were champions that year. Everybody liked them. The Lakers liked them so much that they signed them to a deal, and they lost the playoff. They missed the playoffs. In almost all the years he was a coach, LeBron fired him. He goes to the Sacramento Kings, and then he's as bad in the Sacramento Kings. Like he's a bad coach.
The Kings were better before they got Luke Walton. They took a big
They
step
had
back.
what was the coach before? He was pretty good.
I don't know.
was
Dave
kinda,
Yeager, I think.
Yeah,
he was
it Dave Yeager? He was good. I don't know why he
so.
got fired. I was confused when he got
Yeah,
fired.
I don't know why. And they hired Luke Walton, who just had a miserable season with the Lakers.
Anyway, we'll move on to the 13th worst team here. So
I'm gonna go with the I think the Spurs. Yeah,
I gotta go with
Spurs.
Spurs.
Yeah, I would
Spurs
go
or
with Spurs.
Pelicans.
I think there's too
I
much
don't
talent
know.
this year in the West.
Yeah, I think the Spurs have to be that 13th seed.
Yeah.
They maybe trade somebody this season if they can. Maybe this is Greg's last season. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I think was he signed? Was he signed again? Because I heard rumors that he was gonna try to be on the Nets coach earlier in the season. I think they might have signed him to another deal.
Think about it, though.
I'm not really.
It's not just the coach. He's also the president.
That's true.
He's the basketball coach and GM.
But for me, I don't think that Greg Popovich, at the age that he is, wants to go through another rebuild. And I don't think the future's looking bright. Like this, there's no like. He was there when he was able to snag Tim Duncan and then become a contender again. There's no Tim Duncan coming out anytime soon. They're also probably not gonna have a top pick just because the way that they play. They want to be competitive. So, I just don't see. I don't see Greg Popovich sticking around for that long. Maybe this season, next season, and then he just calls it a career. Either way, he's the greatest coach of all time. But
Yeah.
I agree. What did they pick up in the draft?
they picked up.
Was it the center?
It was a big man.
Didn't they pick up
they picked-
Charles? No, that was the
Was it Jalen?
They picked up Jalen Smith. They picked up Jalen Smith, I believe.
Let me look it up.
But yeah, I think they're gonna be right there, at the 13th seed. Maybe they come out and surprise people. Who knows? Maybe DeMar DeRozan turns into a superstar again, and
No, they picked up Devin Vassell.
Oh yeah, that's
okay.
a
That's
good
who
pick.
it is.
That's some shooting. They could be better than last year, but chances are they just stay around the same.
They could be. I know LaMarcus Aldridge ain't gonna be on that team for much longer. I think he's the next one to go via trade. I think they find a way to move him. He's just too old now.
Yeah.
And
Marcus Aldridge himself could barely move, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough for him to get moved.
he could be on a contending team where he can just come off the bench.
I'd
space
like
the
him on the
floor.
Trailblazers.
The Trailblazers.
What?
I mean,
I think I want him back on the Trailblazers.
back on the Trailblazers. I mean, that's where
on
it
the
is.
Trailblazers.
I think that's a good fit, except the fact that they have like 14
Dennis
forwards, 14
Well, I mean,
centers.
LaMarcus
on their
Aldridge
team.
actually he should play center.
They have Ennis Cantor. I guess they can move them around.
They're not
Zach
playing
Collins.
it. And it's cancer come playoff time. You're not playing them.
They
Um,
like Zach Collins. They
What's
like
the point of it? They have Myers Leonard, right? No,
Yeah.
the Heat.
No.
The Heat have Myers Leonard.
they have
Yeah, I like LaMarcus on the Trailblazers.
Nurkic,
I would like if they
maybe.
traded.
All right, so let's move on to what was it? The 12th seed.
I think that was 13.
We did 3, so
Yeah,
4. We
we
did
did
4.
the 12th now.
So now we're on the
Okay,
12th one.
I think it's gonna have to be the Pelicans.
Mhm.
In my opinion, the Pelicans.
I think the
I don't-
Pelicans aren't.
I think
very-
Zion's gonna get better. But they had a they traded Drew Holiday for Eric Bledsoe, but did get future assets. Eric Bledsoe is definitely a downgrade from Drew Holiday. Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really fit. What do they do with Lonzo now? I have no clue. Because he's a free agent next year, and they're gonna have to pay him. Or, I don't know.
Hey, no, but I'm telling you something right now.
Maybe if he has a good season, people will pay him. But
He's gonna be like, people are gonna give him like a 2-year, like $20 million contract, bro. I'm telling you, he ain't gonna be anything
he's
special.
not getting the max, but he could get I could see him getting the $20 million deal, per 2 years.
That's
For a team that's
exactly what I said.
desperate. Yeah. I know I was going
like
up,
the
but you said-
Knicks.
From
Oh yeah.
my 12, I'm not gonna go with Pelicans. I think I'm gonna go Timberwolves here.
Oh, I
Timberwolves.
forgot about the Timberwolves. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Timberwolves probably. They're not making the playoffs next year, but I think
I think Timberwolves are my 12.
they had a good offseason.
All right, so I'm still taking the. Actually, you're right. The Timberwolves. You guys know how much of a big fan I am of D'Lo. I got his jersey hanging up in my room right now, but the reason why he was so good on the Nets is because he had so much supporting cast around him. He had Dinwiddie off the bench. He had Karis LeVert.
Oh,
Just
they're
to
gonna
come in
act
there.
like D'Lo wasn't coding this season, even when he was on the Warriors.
And he's been solid for the
This man
past
was
couple
averaging
years now.
20. I think he was averaging 25 points per game on great efficiency.
But
year.
I don't think alongside Anthony Edwards that he's gonna be amazing, and especially we have to see if Cat is going to take a next step, because
Yeah.
I said the
Next
same thing.
up, bro.
I think that I said
Cat's
this.
already a beast. What?
I said no, but can he play winning basketball? That's what I'm talking
Bro,
about.
they
Can he
made.
play-
I mean, they made the playoffs with them.
with Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler. They
Okay.
made the playoffs with Jimmy Butler, not with Cat. Cat just
Bro,
happened to be on the team.
You want to slander Wiggins, but he was the third best player on the team. So
Okay,
he was
I'm
the
not
best
saying
player.
anything, but Jimmy Butler was the driving force of that team.
Obviously, but he still had Cat.
Without Jimmy Butler, they're not making the playoffs, Tyler. I don't care.
Well, they did beat the Nuggets out that year to make the playoffs.
With Jimmy Butler on the roster, and we all
Yes.
know how Jimmy Butler is. We just saw him in the finals.
Yes, well, I know.
But what was I saying?
So let's not act like Cat's not a
I
bad
said
dude.
I said this. I didn't say he was terrible. I said the same thing last
Obviously
year
not.
about
Terrible.
Jamal Murray. I said Jamal Murray, for the Nuggets to be really good, he has to take a next step. And from what we've seen from the bubble, it looks like he did take a next step. And you saw him go crazy against all these teams that he went up against. So the same thing applies now to Cat. Can he take the next step, become a top 2 center in the league instead of a top 5 center?
But he.
A top 2.
Cat?
At minimum, he's top 3.
Hell no.
Who's better?
Okay,
So
okay,
you had
so-
Jokic, Joel, and Cat. Who is better than those 3 on the center position?
I'll tell
Maybe
you right now.
Bam. I'd say Bam.
I'd say Bam is better than him because of his playmaking.
Ah man, I don't know.
I think you look-
about that, man.
I think you're looking at his shooting, at Cat's shooting, and
Bro, Bam's not better than
overvaluing
Cat.
him tremendously.
Bam's not better than Cat. So I have a question. Wait, so Bam?
If we
Well,
put
also, I
AD
think
at
about-
center, he's
I
number
think-
1.
I think
But-
we're not doing that. I think Cat is top 3.
Cat is 100% top 3, and anything else is disrespectful.
I think Bam is a solid 4.
Okay, but you have a player like, for example, you have a player like James Harden, right? He's gonna put up the numbers, but is he gonna play winning
I
basketball
know you're
in the
not saying
playoffs?
this right now.
Is he
I
gonna
know
play
you're not
winning
saying this
basketball
right
in the
now, bro.
playoffs?
This man was
Probably
one
not.
Chris Paul injury away from making the
Okay,
finals.
we're talking about the standings right now. We are not talking
I
about.
understand
This
that,
man is
but to
trifling
prove
right now,
We are
bro.
veering. We are veering.
to prove my point
This
on
man.
why the Timberwolves won't be as good is because there's a cap on the team, and the cap is with Carl Anthony Towns. The cap is with Cat, okay? And if Cat doesn't take a next step, a next jump here,
I don't know what jump he could like. What jump could he take?
play
bro?
winning
Guys
basketball,
already-
Tyler. He needs to
guy's
play
insane.
winning basketball.
What is winning basketball? His team's
winning
trash.
basketball? He has he now
How are you supposed to play winning basketball?
he
if
now
you don't
has
have a
all
good
these
team?
pieces around him. He has Anthony Edwards. He has D'Lo. Who else is on that team? He has Malik Beasley on that team, which is really good.
What did he have
If-
before they traded for D'Lo?
If he does not take,
Bro,
if
his
he does
second
not
best
take the
player
next
before
step,
they traded for D'Lo was like James Johnson.
are you I'm not talking about last season, Tyler. Last season was
Okay, but you're
they
talking
won
about
they won a 15-game losing streak last season. I'm not talking
Yes.
about last season. I'm talking about all the seasons prior where he was putting up these numbers, but he wasn't winning basketball.
Bro.
He even with Jimmy Butler, in the
Jimmy-
playoff.
they made-
Look at him in the
year
playoffs.
before
He
last
was
year, they made the playoffs.
he was trash in the
Jimmy Butler.
playoffs. Look at the playoffs. He was trash in the playoffs. He did nothing in the
They
playoffs,
did play
Tyler.
against the 1 seed.
He did nothing in the playoffs. Okay. So let's
Who they
move on
play
now.
against?
They played against, I don't know, Tyler.
They played against the 1 seed.
I don't-
Probably the Rockets.
I don't remember. They did play against the Rockets. All right, let's move on
We all
here.
agree. 12 Timberwolves, right?
Yes.
11.
Who's the 11th seed?
Oh, this
Prob-
is tough.
Probably the
man.
Pelicans.
I
gonna
have
go-
I have
I don't know. I have
the
the
Timberwolves at
Pelicans
the
at
11th
least.
seed.
I have the Pelicans in the top 10. I think.
I have the Pelicans 12 and Timberwolves at 11.
Okay. I think the Pelicans have too many pieces to be that low, though.
But here's the thing.
Yeah,
the thing
that's very
is,
true,
the thing
but-
is with the Pelicans. Yes, they have depth, but they
A lot of depth.
there's Zion, the type of player he is. He needs
No.
shooters around him, and they bring in Steven Adams. They bring in Eric Bledsoe, which isn't the best shooter. They also have Lonzo around them. The only player that fits around Zion, as I see it, is JJ Redick and Brandon Ingram. So unless they figure out something where I think the Pelicans should really
I
place
think
Zion
they
at the
have-
center, a small ball center. I
They
think
have
he can really.
have a lot of talent, but is
They
it
have
all
too
going
many.
to fit
They have too many
together?
guys for that. Play Zion at the center. They
They
have
still have Jackson
Jackson
Hayes.
Hayes,
They have.
Steven Adams. Yeah.
I'm not
Bro,
sure how that team's
really-
gonna
They're
match.
trying to
Willie
put together a
Hernangomez
2K
now.
team, bro. They're putting together a bunch of high overalls.
They have Willie Hernangomez now.
I don't know how that team's gonna mesh, and to be honest, I don't even know who their coach is. So I don't know how that team is gonna come together and work together, especially with the spacing and Zion. He's not. I mean, unless Zion turns into Steph Curry, but
I'm assuming that they're gonna start Eric Bledsoe,
Bold
and
take here.
they're gonna start JJ Redick.
Bold take here. But I think for my 11, I think I want to put the Jazz.
the Jazz.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I want to put the Jazz.
oh wow.
They're
Jazz.
good. They have a good starting lineup, but they have no depth at all.
They've never had any depth though.
Like, their best
Be clear
player-
about
Their best player is what's his name?
that. Donovan Mitchell.
No, off the bench.
Off the
I was
bench.
getting scared. I was
Um,
like, "What are you talking about?"
Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, but he's good off
He
the bench.
signed. They
He
signed him
averaged like
to that
18
bag.
last year.
They signed
He
to a
did
bag.
get that bag.
He averaged like 18 off the bench.
I don't
last
know.
year.
I have them falling down this year.
I don't know. Maybe, but probably not. They've been such a good team.
I don't think.
Um,
I don't think they're missing the playoffs.
They have a good coach. They have a good team, but it's not good enough to compete. So they're in like a weird position, but they'll be good next year.
I think I have the Trailblazers. I mean, not the
Donovan
Trailblazers,
Mitchell's only
Pelicans.
going to get better too.
I have the
Yeah,
Pelicans.
I'm gonna put the Jazz there for me.
Okay.
Right,
So now we're
So
at the
top
10.
10. I'm picking the Grizzlies here with the 10th.
yeah.
I agree with
no.
that one.
For
Grizzlies
me,
at 10.
The West is only getting better, and John Morant just
Wait.
was in sole position of the
Mhm.
8th seed. So I think with all these teams coming back, he's
Yeah,
back
but the
in
Grizzlies
10th seed.
have so much young talent though. Like, they
But you have to
Jaren
remember,
Jackson.
Jaren Jackson's injured for this year. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
because he had that ACL injury in the bubble.
yeah, I'll put him at the 10th seed.
So
They'll be right there to make the playoffs.
For me,
though.
I'm gonna put the Pelicans at 10th seed.
Pelicans and Tennessee. Okay.
Grizzlies will be right there to make the playoffs. I'll be surprised if they.
I don't.
Don't have a shot.
I can see it both ways. Like last year, the same thing happened. The Pelicans and the Grizzlies were. I mean, yeah. The Pelicans and the Grizzlies were right there fighting for the 8th seed until the Pelicans fell flat on their face in the bubble.
At the 9th seed, I'm gonna have the. Wait, who?
At the
Wait,
9th
who's-
seed for
okay.
me, I'm gonna have the Phoenix Suns at the 9th seed.
Okay.
Um,
I think they'll be
I-
very close to the 8th seed.
that's where I'm putting the Grizzlies. 9th seed.
At the 9th seed, I have the. You know what? I'm gonna say. I'm gonna put the Trailblazers there.
The Trailblazers at
Yeah,
the
I don't
9th
think
seed.
they got
Are
better.
you crazy?
They got
I'm putting
better.
The
them at the 9th
Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are a top 5 team in the Western Conference.
I'd say
They might
I'd
be.
say top
They might
6. Yeah.
They might be, but
You got them at
I'm
the
putting them at
9th
the
seed,
9th.
Tyler. Last year
I'm
they're
putting
only at the
them at the
9th seed
9th.
because
actually, hold up. Stop.
Yeah.
I'm stopping.
Rethink
Hold up. I'm putting the Warriors there.
all right, let's move on to the 8th seed.
The Warriors there.
You're out of your mind.
No,
man.
the Warriors at the 9th seed.
All right. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Are you for real about that?
You know what? I think the Trailblazers, they're gonna be good.
You still
They'll
have
be better
the
than the
Jazz?
Warriors.
Come on, man.
The
The
Trailblazers
Jazz
will be
at
better than
least-
the Warriors this year, and I think the Warriors. Yeah, I'll put them in the 9th seed.
You have the Suns, the
You
Jazz,
have the Suns,
over
the Suns,
Yes.
the Jazz, the Mavericks.
Yes.
over the Warriors.
Yes.
You got to
No.
be smoking.
Listen, people are disrespecting Curry,
Bold
bro.
take.
You forget
Bold
who.
take.
Okay, you know what? I'll give it to you, man.
I'm here for the hot takes. Man.
People forget who Curry is. He misses one season and people forget.
I don't forget.
I'm telling you,
I know
that
who
hot
Stephen
take
Curry is,
that hot take is
That's
gonna turn into a freezing
hot take.
freezing cold take.
It might.
Oh,
It might,
I
but
hope.
That's what a hot
Matter of
take's
fact,
for. That's what a hot take's for.
I hope the Warriors go to the 8th, 9th seed because that would be a disastrous for whoever the 1st and the 2nd seed is because it's having to play the Warriors in the first round.
That's the scary 9th seed.
Having to play the Warriors in the first round. Yeah, you're bugging. Anyway, let's go to the 8th seed, and this is gonna come at a surprise to everyone. I think that the Rockets are gonna be the 8th seed.
I don't fault that. I don't think that's a surprise.
And here's why. Yes, they went outside Christian Wood. Yes, they went outside DeMarcus Cousins. But you have a lot of turmoil in that Rockets team. They just
a lot of turmoil.
They just signed a new coach, and yet he's got a lot on his plate. He's got James Harden not wanting to be there. You've got Russell Westbrook not wanting to be there. You've got PJ Tucker wanting a new contract at the age of 37 years old. They've got Eric.
You got Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon, who wants a better role than what he is right now. They lost Austin Rivers.
Great part of that team.
Who else? That's pretty much it.
I can see it. I
Having
can see it at the 9th seed.
the Rockets making it to the 8th seed is just like that is. I'm surprised they're not going to miss the playoffs, for me at least. But when you look at the teams, I think the Rockets are the most 8th seed team here in the West. Yes, they have good players. Yes, James Harden's going to average his 40 points. But they have a lot of turmoil. They have a lot of big egos in the locker room, especially with DeMarcus Cousins. And Christian Wood, will have to see how good he is now on his 7th, 7th team in the league. What about you guys?
What are we at, the 8th seed?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8th seed.
I'll put the you know what? I'll put the Jazz right here.
The Jazz in the 8th seed. Okay.
I'll put the Jazz right here.
I think I'm going to put the Mavericks.
Mavericks at the 8th seed?
Maybe. No, they did just get Josh Richardson, the defense they needed. I think I might have to agree with you and go Rockets. No, I'm going to put Suns at the 8th seed, honestly.
Suns? Okay. Just for reference, I had the Suns at the 9th seed, so.
Yeah, I'm going to put the Suns
Sure.
at the 8th.
I don't mind seeing that. I think that's a possibility. They just got Chris Paul, and they have 2 really good players around them. So. Let's move on. Wait, Tyler, what are you having at the 8th seed?
At the 8th seed, I said Jazz.
Okay, you have the Jazz. Okay.
Yeah, Jazz.
So for the 7th seed, I have the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell. and Rudy Gobert. I mean, they're gonna be the same team over and over again until Rudy Gobert leaves this offseason. Um, there's not much to say about the Jazz. They're a good team, but they're not like any playoff, or they're not any like contender.
Yeah, they're not good enough to be a title contender, but they're also not. They'll always be in the middle.
Yeah.
They're just really good, but they're not really good enough.
So you had the Jazz at the 8th. So who's at the 7th for you, Tyler? And you had the Warriors at the 9th. So
Yeah. At the 7th seed, I have the. I'll put the Mavericks there. Put the Mavericks there.
That's wild. That's wild that you
Mavericks.
think that the Mavericks are better than the Warriors.
For the 7th seed, I'm going to put the Rockets.
The Rockets? Wait, you just had them at the 8th seed.
No, I put Suns there.
Oh yeah, you did. All right, so we have so far. I have the Rockets for the 9th seed. I have the Suns 8th, the Rockets 7th, the Jazz, and then you guys have Tyler has the Warriors at the 9th seed. Who's at the 8th seed for you? The Jazz?
Warriors, Jazz, and then actually, the Mavericks at the 7th seed.
And then you, JJ, you have the Pelicans?
Rockets 7th. So top 10?
Top 9.
Top 9 is Grizzlies, Suns, Rockets, Mavericks.
Okay. You gave me the top 10, but whatever.
That was 9, 8, 7, 6.
9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, okay. So so who's your 6th pick again?
Mavericks.
Okay. Okay, I see that. Mavericks. They're a little bit higher than on my standings, but for the 6th seed, I have the Golden State Warriors. Had they had Klay Thompson, they probably would have been a top 3 team, but you lose the best shooting guard in the league, you're probably going to be a little lower. Steph Curry is going to do his Steph Curry things. James Wiseman is going to get in there. He's going to do his thing. We'll have to see what they have for Wiggins, and Draymond needs to play at another level than what he did last year, so that he doesn't look like a bum, Mr. Triple Single himself. So I have the Warriors on my 6th seed. JJ has the Mavericks as 6th seed.
Mm-hmm.
And then what about you, Tyler?
I'm gonna put the Suns right there.
At the 6th seed? You think the Suns are better than the Warriors?
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
We're here for the hot takes. Okay? Nothing more, nothing less.
I'm gonna clip this, and you're
Go ahead.
gonna lose all your.
Go ahead, son.
That what you said right there is on the level of JJ's basketball takes.
Bro, what are you talking about? I really hate you.
I think the Suns are gonna be really good next year.
Bro, I know you love Chris Paul, but come on, bro. Chris
Suns
Paul
6th seed.
6
You're
in the
lucky
West.
I put him at 5.
Anyway, so you have the Warriors at 5, right? You just said that.
Me?
I mean, not the Warriors.
I have the Rockets at 5.
Oh, Rockets are 5. Okay, I could see that the Rockets are either gonna be really good, like a top 5 seed, or they're gonna be really bad. They might even miss the playoffs, but we'll see what happens if they trade anybody. So for my 5th seed, I'm gonna have the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic is only getting better.
Whoa! You have the Mavericks above the Warriors?
Yes, I do, because Klay Thompson.
That's the same thing you said to me.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that Klay Thompson was injured until I got to the Warriors. So Luka is only getting better. They got Josh Richardson, a good defender. Kristaps Porzingis is gonna do Porzingis things, and he might be MVP. Luka Doncic might be MVP type player this year with the numbers he's gonna put up. How about you, JJ? Who do you have at the 5th seed?
At the 5th seed, I was gonna put the Warriors, but I'm going to go ahead and put the Nuggets.
The Nuggets, okay. So, yeah, that's a good pick. For my 4th seed, did you want to add something, Tyler?
Oh no, I was just on the 4th seed right now, right?
So yeah, on the 4th seed, I have the Nuggets as the 4th seed. We saw Jamal Murray break out. I mean, he brought his girl to the bubble. He just went crazy, right? But Nikola Jokic now is there. He's good. He's always gonna be good. But I think that's concerning for me is they did lose a pretty good player in Jeremy Grant. Um,
Yeah, he was a nice role player.
he was a really good role player. They drafted R.J. Hampton. I doubt he was going to get any playing time right now.
And they have Bol Bol. Don't forget about Bol Bol.
They have Bol Bol. They also have
crazy lineup.
they're the best young team. I think they might be one of the best young teams.
They could be if
definitely.
they play their cards right, they could be a dynasty
Especially when
in the
they
making.
lose Paul Millsap.
The Paul Millsap re-signed for a cheaper deal. I like that because he's already familiar with the system there and everything, so he'll come in and help. What happened? He signed like a 1 year, like $18 million deal or something like that.
Okay, that's nice.
Paul Millsap on the team is great.
They also have Michael Porter Jr. Hopefully he starts and he makes
Might have
some
a breakout.
He might have technically in his second year, but he's really in his third year. His second actually playing year, he might have a breakout year alongside. You know, you heard him in the bubble talk about how he wanted a bigger role, but we'll see what he can do. So who's your guys' fourth? Did you guys already say your fourth? Or?
I got the Trailblazers at the fourth.
Trailblazers at 4.
Yeah.
So just for reference, you had them either going the 9th or the 4th seed.
Well, yes.
Oh my God,
Okay.
Tyler!
You're jumping all around. I can't wait.
All right.
I can't wait till we get to the
yeah.
playoffs so I can see.
That's
I
a hot
got
take.
at the 4th. I got the Warriors.
Okay. I would have had the Warriors top 5 if they had Klay Thompson, but they don't have Klay Thompson.
If they had Klay Thompson, I'd put them top 3.
Honestly, I feel like all these teams are just. I feel like they're really close together in terms of.
I don't know. It's hard to pick a solid first, but I think everyone knows what that's going to be. But
Yeah.
So everybody has their fourth seed.
Yep.
So everybody go. Okay, my 3rd seed is gonna be the LA Clippers. They have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Tyronn Lue's their new coach. They disappointed in 2020. They lost Montrezl Harrell off the bench, which is kind of huge because he came on there and gave him a 20-point game spark. But they got in return Serge Ibaka for losing Montrezl Harrell, which is, you can argue that Serge Ibaka is a way better player than Montrezl Harrell because he can hit the shot and he can play good defense. So the Clippers are the 3rd seed for me. Kawhi Leonard is going to load manage the entire season. So that's why they would be number 1 if Kawhi didn't, want to take breaks in the season, but that's fine. Paul George has to prove himself in the playoffs again. Why he should be a top 5 two-way. I think he is a top 5 two-way, but
100% top 5, yeah.
Yeah. So that I have them at I have them at 13.
My number 3, I got the Trailblazers there. I just think that with all the depth they added, and Dame, doing his thing, having had a great season last year, I feel like the improvements are definitely going to be there.
Mm-hmm. So you have the Trailblazers at 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the Clippers at 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully Serge and Leonard can reinvigorate the team and make them have that the Toronto Raptors feel again, because that was a fun team to watch. All right. So my 2 seed is the Portland Trail Blazers. I think they made a lot of good moves. They swapped Ariza for Covington. They got Enes Kanter back on a really small salary, by the way. I think he's making like $5 million, and he's really good for $5 million. He had a really good stint with the Portland Trail Blazers. Damian Lillard, that man's gonna pull it from the logo. He's gonna average 27, 28 a game. And then they also have a lot of good pieces around them. You have Yusuf Nurkic is back and fully healthy. You have Zach Collins is back and fully healthy. And then they have a lot of good depth on that team. They just signed Harry Giles for that backup forward / center role. So I think the Blazers are a really good team, and I think that
they re-signed Melo too.
Oh, they re-signed Melo. Yeah, I think they can. I think they're a championship contender now. I
agree.
They have championship pieces and people with experience, and but they ain't beating they ain't beating the 1st seed. We all know that though.
My 2nd seed, the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
Yes. think they'd be really good next year, just like always. Actually, for the past 3 years,
Oh, with all that depth, I agree.
With the
Second
Nuggets.
seed, I have the Clippers. I think that they had their their chemistry problems in the playoffs, but I feel like they'll get over that now. I think Paul George will step up his game. I think he knows what he did wrong, and I think he got the jitters out. Hopefully they can do what they can do.
This team. This for the Clippers, by the way, is a championship or bust season for the Clippers.
No, 100%. It's a
last year was.
Last year was,
championship or bust.
to some extent, they had to go up against, like, if they lost against the Lakers, I don't think people would have been mad. You know what I'm saying? But they lost in the third round against the Nuggets, and they blew a 3-1 lead. This year right here is a championship or bust. If they don't either win the championship or have a very close championship series with whoever team is on the Eastern Conference, Kawhi's gone.
After the season, Paul George is free agent. Kawhi's a free agent. Kawhi's a free agent.
Yep. That team is done. So if they don't win a championship, this team will be a poverty team for the rest of our lifetime. And that's a big thing to say, but they have no picks for the future. They put all their things into these two top players, and if they don't win a championship with them, that's a failed team, man. That's a failed team.
I agree.
Yeah, I think honestly for the Clippers, it's either, for me, I think it's either a top 3 seed or they might not even make the playoffs, or maybe 8 seed.
Whoa.
I think it really all depends on the chemistry. It looks like
Talk about a hot take.
I'm talking.
I like the hot take.
They're very, they're kind of like the Rockets with the turmoil. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know. I feel like the chemistry isn't all there, but if they get it together, they're a top 3 team in the entire NBA. But I don't know. I mean, they could very possibly just break down, and I think Kawhi's.
You think there's a possibility that they break down one game and Kawhi starts crying on the floor?
No, I don't think that would happen.
Kawhi's gonna ball out into a little ball.
Kawhi and Paul George, I don't think that their relationship is the best, but we'll see. I don't think even Kawhi wants to be there anymore. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't think that necessarily Kawhi doesn't want to be there, but he just went for, instead of staying. I mean, they would have definitely ran it back in Toronto if he stayed, but he wanted to play with Paul George in his home state. So I don't know what he's thinking.
I think Kawhi regrets signing with them. Is what I think.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they'll miss the playoffs. I don't care if they beef every single time that they're in the locker room. They're not missing the playoffs this year.
There's a lot of skill in the West, though, so I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
All right, and I think this is pretty obvious. The number 1 seed, the Lakers. They added Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, and they replaced Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard with championship level players.
They got Marcus
Gasol now.
Good.
They still have LeBron James. They're probably they're 99.8% gonna re-sign Anthony Davis. That team, I think in the last podcast I didn't say they got better, but now looking at it, that team got better. It's so hard. It's so fascinating actually to see a team that just won the championship get even better. I mean, that's just
not in the Warriors.
Unheard of. Besides the Warriors when they got KD, but like let's take it easy here.
Well, they did lose that.
They did lose that, but they did win
but they did win 73 games.
Yeah.
But I think everyone agrees here, obviously, right? Because no one had the Lakers.
The Lakers.
I'm looking at a source. It looks like with the James Harden trade rumors, the Warriors called Rockets about possible deal for James Harden.
I mean, they probably have to put in. Klay
This is
Thompson
reported 1 hour ago.
They probably have to put in Klay Thompson in that deal, and
I see that the Warriors explored trading for James Harden. At one point, by the end of the day, they said that. Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to make that trade instead.
Looks like the Rockets are very stubborn. They do not want to trade away James Harden.
I mean, he's gonna bounce regardless. If they don't trade him at the end of his contract, he's gonna Tyler, do you know how much time he has left on his contract? 2 years, right?
Maybe a 2+1, maybe
But he did decline that $50 million bag. Um,
per
so
sources.
so that I mean, you decline $50 million, guys. You're probably not gonna stay. A year, by the way. Um, is there anything else we want to talk about here?
He's going to be a free agent in either 2022 or 2023.
Is there anything we want to talk about? Players.
That's crazy. I just saw it. I think. So obviously we have the Timberwolves pretty low. So what do we think about Anthony Edwards?
Well, I think we covered Anthony Edwards a little bit in the last podcast. He's not gonna come in there and start, being the star player on the team. He's gonna probably come off the bench and or start in front of Malik Beasley. Well, they have Malik Beasley there in the starting guard, bro. It's very hard for me to imagine that they're gonna start a fresh guy over someone who's proven that can play in the
Number
league.
one pick. He's the number one pick.
Well, we'll have
Well,
to
it
see.
depends on how he
You
does
don't-
in
you
training
don't
camp.
pick-
We'll have
you
to
don't
see.
pick. You don't have the number one pick and not start him and have him off the bench. It just doesn't happen.
We'll have to see how he does in the summer league. If there is there even a summer league this year? Because that'd be
I don't
interesting. I want to watch that. I think there's a lot of good players
I
in it.
doubt it because isn't the NBA supposed to start like now?
Oh yeah, you're right. There's no summer league because we're not in the summer, guys.
We're in the winter. The NBA is supposed to start this month.
Yeah, they're supposed to start in a couple weeks. Training camp starts tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Next week. So,
Yeah. So make
everything
sure
I
you
want,
guys
everything
keep
I
your
want to
list,
say,
remember it, and we'll see at the end.
everything I want to say about my team, it will be saved for the next podcast, which is the Brooklyn Nets. There's something that they did that I don't like a lot, and we'll see. So if there's nothing else to be said, let's go ahead and wrap up this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this edition of LJTV Hoops.